Hi, my name's Mandy and welcome to my YouTube channel, What Mandy Made Next. So today I have some cross stitch, stitching, knitting, crochet and some quilting to share with you. So no further ado, let's get on with it. So on a Monday, as you know, if you followed me for a while, I usually like to work on a mini project, and I chose one from this book called Stitch It for Spring. It's by Lynette Anderson. I'll just pick a photograph for you there. So it was this that I wanted to make. So this is called, I always forget, Garden Delights Table Centre. So yeah, I just thought with it that would look really pretty, this table centre, not on a table but on here, on my dresser. That's what I was thinking for a spring display. I got this idea for dressing up the dresser for the seasons from Davina from Little Workroom Crafts. Gone are the days where we all used to put our tea sets on there, although there is a coffee pot there. But yeah, all what used to be on here was a tea set. So yeah, I love dressing it up for the season, so thank you for that idea, Davina. So let's show you the progress on this table topper. So here we go. I think last time, oh, my voice has gone echoey, sorry. Last time I spoke to you, I don't think these picket fences had been completed. Now I do apologise, you can see some creases here and the hoop marks, and that's because there is a little bit more embroidery to do here, and I've used a heat erasable marker. So if I'd ironed it like I have done before and it's taken all the marks off, you see. I've just got a little bit of stitching to do on the beehives and this little birdhouse here, and I think there's a couple of bees I've got to stitch on, and all the embroidery and the applique is completed. So I'll be really pleased when this is completed, although it will be a little bit late now to put on my spring display because we're now into summer. Well, we're coming into summer. For this table centre, I'll bring the picture a little bit closer. You can see there is a centre here, and I've chosen some fabric for that, and the outer petal here, it's like a flower, isn't it? This outer fabric I've also chosen. So it's just a matter of finishing off some embroidery and quilting this onto that flower petal, and hopefully I'll have it finished to show you next time I speak to you. Okay, so my next project I want to share with you is the cross stitch I'm working on for my morning stitch. Now this was a concept, again I've pinched from Olivia, whose YouTube channel is called Little Pumpkin Hollow. I'll pop a link in down below to her channel. So she has a project that she likes to stitch on in the morning, so I've also adopted this idea. So I've been working on the mini sea beacon. So as you know, if you've been following me for a while, this is a project I've been working on, I think it's nearly coming up to the 3rd year. So it's a full coverage. The artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffiths, and it's been charted for cross stitch by Michelle Zayetta for Heaven and Earth Designs. Now the fabric I am stitching this on is a 18 count, and it's gridded already for me, so that makes it far more easier when you're doing full coverage, because I only work usually one square at a time. But let me show you the progress on this. So if I remember rightly, this is where I was up to a few months ago. I can't remember when I last shared this with you. I know I did on my last vlog, but I don't think I took a photograph. But anyway, here is the last photograph I took of this project, and here we are now. I know you're probably thinking, why the heck haven't you finished off that little bit? But like I say, I just work on this in the morning. So isn't she glorious? Let me stand up to see if I can show you the full beauty. Let me go back a little bit and then you can see. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm so pleased and proud with this work. I really am. Just look at see the waves crashing up her dress. Fantastic. Absolutely. And it's funny because when you're stitching, you know, they call it confetti. So you could have in a little square, which is 100 stitches, you might only have one stitch of one colour, and you could have up to 20 different colours to get this effect, you see. Absolutely beautiful. But when you're stitching the square, you don't really see what you're stitching until you've finished, you know, and you stand back and look. But like I say, I think there's only about, I'd say there's probably 400 stitches maybe to do there. So hopefully I'll finish this in the week, and then it'll be the laborious task of lacing it up. But I can't wait to see this on the wall. I really can't. So yeah, that's my mini Seabeak, and so pleased. Now I do have a finish, and I finished this a few weeks ago, and this is called Twilight Calm. It's a cross stitch kit I purchased, I think it was 10 years ago when I was on holiday in Florida. And it's from the Gold Collection by Dimensions. And all I did whilst I was on holiday is put a few poultry stitches in this piece. So I dug it out, it's quite a few months ago now, and I completed it and I shared that with you. But now I've got it framed. So for those of you who know me, I usually go to charity shops and I purchase pictures. I mean, you can get them for £1 to £3 in money, and I buy them for the frames, you see, and then I'll bring the frames home, and I've just got so many frames now. They were all in the garage, taking over the garage space. Dave says every room there's a craft now. But anyhow, all these frames I had, and not one frame would fit my cross stitch. Not even if I allowed for a mount. There was nothing with the dimensions for this cross stitch. So I decided I would go to a framing shop and see how much it would be to get it framed. So I have had framing done before for my Mickey Mouse, if you remember, and I was really pleased. But sometimes when you take it to somewhere, you know, I mean, this might not be for everyone, but what I found personally, when I took it to get framed, my Mickey Mouse one, they measured the piece and the frame was ordered and it went off for lacing. Well, obviously when they laced it, they stretched it and then they put it in the frame and the mount round it, and when it come back there was I think about 3 rows of stitching missing from the bottom, which, you know, I wasn't too pleased about really. So, you know, and I didn't complain or anything, but yeah, I just thought, you know, I'll frame my own from now on, because it is expensive for me. I really can't afford to keep having my cross stitch framed. I can't. But I decided I'd go to a framing shop with this piece because I'd spent so much time. And when I went to the framing shop, he just pulled out a catalogue. And I said, well, I'll lace it myself, and this is what the dimensions, you know, the measurements are. And he just looked in a catalogue and said, pick a frame. So I picked a frame, and then I think it come to over £80, and that's with me lacing it myself, because he said I was choosing non-reflective museum glass, which sent the price up, you see. And I have looked at online framing, but a lot of it was using perspex, you know, the acrylic, and I thought, well, I don't want glass. And when I looked around his studio, there was, you know, frames using the perspex, and he said, and I mentioned this to him, and I said, I don't really want perspex, and he said, well, this is all perspex, these frames here. And you couldn't tell. So I thought, oh, well, why am I spending all this money? I may as well go home and look at an online shop, which I did. So we came home, and I've got some mount board already, acid free from Hobbycraft. So I cut a piece, well, Dave did cut the piece for me, and I laced up my cross stitch myself, because you know I can do that. And then what I did is I went on the internet and I chose Frames UK. I think it's Frames UK or Easy Frames UK. And I looked at Trustpilot, and they got good reviews, and those worked out quite economical compared to some of the companies. So I chose exactly the same frame that I chose at the framing shop, and perspex non-reflective, and the price come out with postage about £36, and I thought, well, that's a lot better. So I sent off for it, and I kid you not, I thought this is going to be a month's job. 5 days later, the frame was in my hands. Very well wrapped. I could even track the delivery through DHL. It was saying, you know, you're 134 and is at stock number 44, and I kept looking, and yeah, it was perfect. So when the frame arrived, with the perspex, you have to take the cover off. You know, it's got like a sticky cover on. So we took it off, and we looked up, and we couldn't see a thing. It looked frosted, and I thought, oh. So we cleaned it, and all you could see, it just looked like, you know, if you've got glass and you put a PVC layer or something, like, you know, to keep it private. It looked like that, if you know what I mean. And I was just about to ring the company up when I decided to put it against the cross stitch, and blow me, you could see the cross stitch. It was really weird. So let me show you the actual frame cross stitch. So here we go. Yeah, you can't believe it, can you? You'd think that was glass. You really would. I mean, I know I say it's non-reflective. I mean, obviously it's going to pick up some. But I'm so pleased with this. I really am. Now, if you look, this is just how I saw it in my mind's eye. I didn't want a mount. I just wanted a plain gold coloured frame, and it's wood. It looks like it's wood anyhow, yeah. They've made it to the specification. It's good quality, it's high quality, this is. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I mean, you wouldn't know that was perspex. You really wouldn't. So yeah, I'm really happy. So this piece now, you know, I've got this wall now of cross stitch, and you know, every time I stitch a piece, I think, oh God, that's fantastic, it looks lovely. And then you stitch another piece and you get that framed and you prefer that, you know what I mean? But this is our favourite now. It really is. I love it. So yeah. And I also paid for the backboard. That was extra. Not much more. And like you say, you've got these little things what hold it in place. I've just got to cover it and put a library card in to give the information about the picture. Dave's knotted that, he's naughty really, I was done that, but it's got to be tidied up. But just wanted to get it on the wall and to see what it looked like. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really, really happy. So I thought I'd share that with you. So I'll pop a link into that framing shop down below, just in case, you know, you want to frame something and you can't get the exact frame for your piece. It's really good. On a Tuesday, I have been working on A Year at Hawk Run Hollow. So this is a cross stitch by Carriage House Samplings, and each box is devoted to a month. Now I have done a boo-boo with this one. So as you can see, there's 3 boxes across by 4 boxes long, okay? And I'll show you what I've done. See, that's how it should look. You know, block 1, 2, 3. But I have made the biggest boo-boo ever. And I don't know why. So it should go this way. And I, for some reason, I've popped this in my hoop, started, and yeah. I think there's no way there's enough for 4 blocks down here. So it's going to have to be 4 blocks going across instead. So there we go. That's me all over. So this is a project initiated by Suzie Stitcher. Hi Suzie, if you're watching. And yeah, she started this stitch along in January. So I was a little bit late to the party, but I've started the January block. I've just got to complete the buttons on the gentleman's coat, and his mug of beer, I've accidentally stitched that in the wrong colour. It should be a yellowy colour for the beer, so I'll just have to unpick that bit. But I've started on the February one. So, but once I finish my mini sea beacon, I might swap this to my morning stitch. May do. So we'll see how we go. But I've been using this hoop. So this again was something I saw on Suzie Stitcher. Now I've got different hoops and different setups. I've got the frames as well, the little white frames, what you clip. I've tried everything because I stitch two-handed. I've even got I've got the siesta frame, what you put on your lap, and you scroll round and you can do your stitching that way. I've also got the one what fits under your knee and clips on your hoop on, and you can stitch two-handed that way. But with my joints, now I'm older, I find it very difficult to manoeuvre my shoulders after a while. And I saw this on Suzie Stitcher, and I said to Suzie, I said, what's that? And she said, they're really good. Now, when I first saw it on Suzie's vlog, I went to 123stitch.com because I know she uses that company, and I thought I saw this and it was called the Morgan frame, but then being silly I saw one on Amazon which was far cheaper, so I thought, oh, I'll go for that one. And I didn't read the reviews and sent off for it and spent £40, and all what came was this. So we've sent it back. We're still waiting for his money from Amazon for that, because you can get your money back. And then I went to 123stitch.com, and after speaking to Suzie and she told me yes, they're really good, I thought, right, I'm going to spend the money and get it from there. So yeah, it only took a couple of weeks for arrive, but I'm so pleased with this. So basically you can use either hoop. I'm using this one for the Hawk Run Hollow, and then I can pop that on my knee and I can get my hands on this hand underneath, and so I can stitch. So yeah, not that that means stitch, I don't know what that means, but I was just trying to show you. But yeah, it's well worth it. So they do different sizes, and I might invest in a bigger size. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, really pleased with that. So thank you, Suzie, for that suggestion. Wednesday, I like to work with wool. I like to knit or crochet. And I've finished the socks. So let me show you the pattern that I work with. This is just a plain vanilla sock by Nurturing Fibres, and you can download this pattern free from Ravelry. I've used, let me show you the wool I've used. It's this, it's called Bullfinch, and it's from the Birds range by West Yorkshire Spinners. So it's a typical sock yarn, you know, 75% wool. It's usually a blue face Leicester, and then 25% nylon, because it is a sock and you want it hard wearing. So yeah, this is Bullfinch. I've knit Dave now nearly, I mean, they have extended the Birds range, but I've knit him owl, pheasant, and the mallard duck. So yeah, so that's Bullfinch. I've forgotten what this one was. It might be a Jaeger, I'm not sure, but that's in like a charcoal, and I want it, I'm using that for the toes and cuffs to give some contrast. So here are the finished socks. So I've knit these toe up, okay, and then I've incorporated a fleecle heel, and like I say, I finished off the cuff in the charcoal. So there we go. I did try to get the stripes to match. I don't know what happened. I have changed the sock recipe, so I wrote some of the recipe down, the new one. I've increased some stitches, so made the sock a little bit bigger for him, and then I forgot what I've done, so I think that's why they aren't quite matching, but I don't think it's too bad. Thought I dropped a stitch, then I haven't. Oh, nothing worse, is there, when you're sewing something up and you see a dropped stitch. There we go. So he should be quite pleased with these now. I can get them off the blockers and he can start to wear them. Right, so that's my socks. And the next one I want to show you, oh yes, is my new knitting project. Now this is living in this gorgeous project bag. So Davina from Little Workroom Crafts, she had a shop update and I happened to spot this, and I thought, oh, I love that. Strawberry jam. Isn't it delicious? So I automatically went onto her Etsy site, went on, and they'd all gone. I thought, typical. So I emailed her and I said, I just loved that fabric. Would it be possible to make me a bigger, you know, than the usual sock bag, a bigger bag, and she said yes, she'd be able to do that. And I also ordered a DPN cozy as well. So I'm so pleased. I love this. I mean, I can make project bags, but sometimes you just want a little treat, don't you? And I like to support small businesses. So there we go. And look, she's even got a stamp logo in there. It's got pockets as well, which match the top. So yeah, I love this. Thank you, Davina. And she kindly, I'll just show you the DPN as well. Matching DPN, this beautiful duck egg blue at the back. Got an eye for colours, Davina. Look at these poppers. Yeah, you're going to have to send me a video on how to do these, because I've got a little popper thing and I've never used it, you know. I've had it years. Right, and then she sent me a little keeper there. Isn't it cute? Just put my hand behind and you can see. Beautiful. So thank you, Davina. Oh, so in it. Oh, this is another thing Davina sent me, but that was like a little freebie. She sent me that ages ago. I keep all my stitch markers in there. So I am knitting a cardigan for my granddaughter, and it's from the Drops Design website. So it was a free pattern, and it's called the Agnes cardigan. It's for double knitting, and it's knit top down. Now I purchased this wool. It's Robin Bonnie Babe. They don't do colourways, they do the numbers, don't they? So I'll give you the number. It's 1368. It's a beautiful lavender shade. Obviously it's 100% acrylic. And I got this, I think it was only about £1 something. Because the local craft shop, which is in our garden centre, was closing down sadly. And they sold all the wool off half price. So, I mean, I spent hundreds in there and got so much stuff half price. It was unbelievable, because I make cards as well and scrapbooks. So I've got quite a bit of wool, and I thought this would look lovely as a cardigan. So yeah. Oh, my hand's cramping, just one moment. Oh, that's it. Keeps doing that. Mate, hope it isn't. Just one moment, please. I think it thinks I'm going to start knitting. It's decided to cramp. There. Don't know why that's happened. Right. So back to this. I'll show you the progress on this. So this is how far I've got. I've finished the lace work. So this is the yoke. And like I say, it's knit top down. And I've got a few rows of stocking stitch to do, and then I will be putting some of these stitches here on hold. Those will be for the sleeves, and then I'll be casting on as I go past the sleeves, and this will give me the front and the back, and that way there's no seams, no sewing to do afterwards. So yeah. Now, the thing with the Drops Design, it's a free pattern, and they give you a chart, a schematic chart to work from. I'm used to older patterns where it was all written out for you. So it would be row 1, knit 2, yarn forward, pass slip stitch over, that sort of thing. And then when I used to go work on the second row, would always be purl, because that was the back of the knitting. You would always count up, you'd know your pattern, so you'd know if you'd gone wrong, you see. I didn't use stitch markers years ago, but they're so useful. So I've popped the stitch markers in for each lacy repeat, and I've just been counting them to make sure that I'm correct and I've made no mistakes. But I have written out the pattern the old-fashioned way, you know, row 1, row 2, because I can't go off a schematic like that. I have to write it down, you know, knit two together. So that's how I've done it. I have made a mistake with this. So buttonholes for girls go on the right, as we know, and I always remember that because us girls are always right, aren't we? But when I was knitting, for some reason I put the first buttonhole accidentally on the left, so I'm going to have to stitch that together and then somehow fashion a buttonhole out of the top here. I just got a little bit mixed up, so there we go. That is the Agnes cardigan. Really pleased with how this is turning out. Okay, let's pop that there. Pride of place. So now for some crochet. You may recall I have started the Dune blanket. This is a free pattern by Lucy from Attic 24. Now there are two variations of this blanket. There's one where I think it's called just Random Stripes, and she does have a really good eye for colour because she puts the stripes in such a way, I mean, I would never think of it, but absolutely beautiful. But she also did a version using the same colours but as a colour wash, and I thought, oh, I've never done a colour wash, I'll do that one. So here we go. So you start off with this lovely tealy blue and it goes into this green and then into a turquoisey, and then we're going into the beach, and I think that's the sand. I think it's really pretty. I must admit I am still a bit in two minds if I've chosen, you know, correctly. Should I have done the random stripes or the colour wash? But I am now enjoying the colour wash version. And this is for my eldest daughter, and she spotted it the other day in my project bag, and yeah, she's really pleased with how it's looking. So yeah, it's really clever. There's little shells, like little seashells, aren't they? But yeah, so there we go. That's how far I've got. I think the next few colours will be these. So it'll go like pebbly, and you've got the pinks and the pale purples, you know, the violety colours. I think these represent shells. So look really beautiful. And then we go into pale blues and silver. I think that's for the sky. But yeah, really, really happy with how this is turning out. So on a Thursday I work on my WIPGO. So this was initiated by Jessie, I think it's Jessie Marie Styles, and I have already uploaded a vlog all about WIPGO 24. I'll pop a link into that particular vlog if you haven't already seen it, but that explains about WIPGO. So there's also WIPGO weekends, and those are usually the second weekend in the month, and that's where you can just choose a WIPGO project and work on it, or some people use it to catch up. I don't, I use it to just work on a project, and I've been working, and I will do a WIPGO update at some point, but I've been working on this one here. It's called Pear Tree Inn by Little House Needleworks. I picked this fabric up from a charity shop. It just said raw, that was it, as in RAW. I think this is a 32 count, but I've popped some more stitches in there. So that's where I'm up to, and I've just started the house there. There's the roof. So yeah, quite pleased with how this is turning out. Love it. Now I am going to use one of my frames from the garage for this, and if it doesn't fit, I'll do some fancy board around it until it does. You know, I can't keep stashing things away. But I'll just pop this back in my little needlework folder, and that keeps everything neat and we know where everything is. So I've got all my flossies there. I'm not using all the called for. I'm using some out to stash as well. So that's that, and I've also popped some stitches in my, well, let me see, where's that gone? It's here, hiding down here. So I've also popped some stitches in this project. I'll just pull it out for you. So this is again a dimensions collection. This again is a dimensions kit. It's a petite one from the gold collection. They do these little petites. So this one's called Cliffside Beacon. I think this is a 14 count Ada. I'm pretty sure it is. Let me have a look. Do 18. If it was 14, it wouldn't be petite, would it? This is an 18 count, but I've popped some more stitches in there. We can see the cliffs now, and these little pink flowers are French knots. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how that's looking. It's just like pictures, aren't they? Very clever. So that's my Thursday. The last thing I want to share with you is my quilt. So I must admit, I've fallen a little bit out of love. So this was a block of the month. It was initiated by Liberty Bell, and so I was going to the workshops, and I think it was a couple of years ago when I started this. The quilt is called Riverside Knoll. It's a pattern by Kim Dial, and it was using her new collection of fabrics. Well, they were 2 years ago then, and the range was called Writer's Rain. Yeah, I have popped another layer on the quilt. So these are called Spinning Jenny blocks, and I'd only made 2. So I've made the other 2. I'd already made these blocks here. So let me stand up and show you. If I can just move back a little bit, we can see. So last time I spoke to you, I'd only done the 9 blocks, but now we've got this next layer on top. So I'm hopeful that somehow I can take a big picture of this just to show you the progress. And I've also stitched on this is the inner border. So yeah, I'm quite pleased that I've got this far. Now I've got the blocks ready for the next layer. There is quite a lot of stitching in that, because not only have I got the blocks, but I've got the railroad tracks to sew on as well. But I think the next time I vlog about my progress, I'll be able to more or less show you a completed top. I'm hopeful. I've got 4 more blocks to do, and I don't know why. I thought I'd already done these blocks, but I haven't. so I've got to do the blocks. So yeah, I'd say another month and the top should be completed. And then what I'm going to do is show you how I quilt, based up my quilts ready for stitching. So they're beautiful, beautiful colours. I love them, I really do. This is my aesthetic, you see, this lovely primitive colours. These muted, love them. So that's that. Happy crafting. If you've watched this video to the end and you've enjoyed it, please give me a like. It just helps me with the YouTube algorithm. So that's the little thumbs up there. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Tap the little grey bell there and that'll remind you whenever I upload a vlog. So until I see you next time, happy crafting!